You may know her as a two-time Olympian, a three-time Olympic medalist, also highlighted by an Olympic gold medal in Tokyo in the 100 butterfly. But she's also now announced as a panelist on CBC's show, Canada Reads. I'm joined today by Maggie Mac Neil. Maggie, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
It's so good to see you. We're now just two retired athletes amongst the world trying to figure out life, and this is a new project for you. What was the motivation behind making this decision to be a panelist on this show?
Well, it came easy after you recommended me for it. I heard about 2 days after my retirement that CBC was interested in me for this, and my dad, when I was telling my parents about it, he's like, this is cooler than the Olympics. So I was like, okay, I gotta Google what this is first, and then I'll say yes. But it's been really fun to just do something different, get out of my comfort zone, and I think this year, now that I'm retired, is about saying yes to things. I mean, you know as well as I do, when you're training, you can't do anything.
Yeah, no, saying yes is like my best advice for someone that's just retired. So I love that you're doing this. It also kind of like corresponds with a couple things in your life you're up to, so we'll get there soon. But I do want to know, with the theme this year, it seems like you picked a thriller for a reason. So Maggie's book is Watch Out for Her, so we'll make sure everyone gets to see that, by Samantha Bailey. So this theme this year is one book to change the narrative. And you were picking a thriller that was kind of outside of the box of what's been done in the show before. Now, you're in a phase in your life where you're kind of changing the narrative a little bit. So I wondered, is that a little bit of like, this is what I'm currently living, and I wanted to kind of go there when it came to my book decision?
I didn't really think that deeply about it, I think. I just was drawn to thrillers. I took a decade and a half off of reading for pleasure, just with school and academics and articles and textbooks. So the first thing I picked up when I started reading after I finished my master's, and honestly more after I retired, I've read 18 books, I think, since I retired. So this was one of the first ones, and something about it, I just really enjoy the suspense of it, and I think it probably has to do with the suspense of racing and not kind of knowing the outcome of that. But I really hope that this narrative, for me, is about, you don't have to read something to learn something. You can just do it for the sheer enjoyment of it, and I hope that for people that might not be big readers or people that want to start, this is a good way to start it.
So that was going to be my next question. I mean, as someone myself, I will admit I'm not the best reader. I blame sport a little bit because sport kept, like you said, it keeps you so busy, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you're like, I'm so tired. If I try to read before bed, I can't do it. So now you're able to read a lot more. You said you've kind of found a new passion for reading. You say this one is a little bit more digestible. So sell it to me as somebody who's not necessarily a strong reader or doesn't read for pleasure, but why this book would probably be a good starting point.
Well, it's really easy to follow. I mean, it alternates chapters by, in the present, it's taken from the perspective in the first person of Sarah, the mother, and then the other one is Holly, the babysitter, in the past. So by the time you get to the end of the conflict and the climax, you really see how everything kind of came together and unfolded. But it's about a babysitter that has a hard time with her family life and integrates herself into this picture-perfect family. But secretly, there's a lot going on between Sarah and Daniel, the husband and wife of this little boy, Jacob, and all their secrets kind of create them into the worst versions of themselves. So it's about kind of unraveling that and seeing it unfold, but it's also, they're trying to get past that, but there's something stopping them.
Wow, I'm so intrigued. I want more. So obviously, this is something I have to dive into. For you in the phase of your life right now, you said this is a new passion of yours, taking up reading. You have been reading more over the last few months than you have ever before. You're studying, you finished your master's degree, and now you're studying and taking LSATs, hoping to start law school soon. So I wondered, how are you separating the reading for pleasure and the reading for school?
I think that's a really hard distinction. There was a class I had in my master's program, and because I was gone to Pan Am's and World Cup and I missed a month of school, I did an independent study with my advisor instead, and I think I did 100 times more work than the kids in the class. And I read 7 research articles and wrote a 3-page paper every week of the semester. I would not want to relive that. But no, that's behind me, a book that's like this, a thriller with the suspense and the characters, and it's just so compelling, and I think when I'm enjoying it, it really doesn't feel like it's work.
Well, and that time management is going to set you up really nicely when it comes to the next phase of your life, because those who don't know, I mean, that workload on top of swimmers, you train at 5 a.m. and then you train again at usually 3:30, and then you're doing different things for injury prevention, and it's a round-the-clock job. So the fact that you're able to do all that, I have no doubt you're going to take on law school with stride and one day become a lawyer. And I think this is a really good starting point because in March, you all go and defend your books on Canada Reads. So you're going to get the chance to debate. How are you practicing for this debate format?
It's quite daunting just doing something outside of my comfort zone, and I'm going to enlist the help of some other people. And obviously my relationship with the author is number one, and getting to hear her perspective and why she might have created a character a certain way. And I know a few people that have been on Canada Reads before and definitely want to get their tips and advice on it. But I think it is going to be a great way to combine my competitive personality with my future career as a lawyer and just encompass everything that I am as a person.
It seems like such a great fit. I am now intrigued. I'm excited. I'm getting ready to read. I think all of Canadians can look out for this because, and well, it's called Watch Out for Her. But truly, I mean, to be able to watch you take on this next transition from swimmer to lawyer, this seems like the path. And this is going to be perfect practice. So it's going to be a little intimidating. And I imagine that you'll be able to rise to the challenge. So Maggie, we're rooting for you. The CBC Sports team has your back when it comes to this debate. You, of course, have 4 other competitors you're going to go up against on the panel day. But you can watch it all on CBC. So make sure you're tuning in. It will be on March 17th through to the 20th. And yeah, make sure you're cheering on Maggie. I know you have some other great competitors, though. So all in all, we just hope for, we hope everyone has fun, as we always do in sport. But we appreciate your time today, and best of luck in your next endeavor.
Thank you.